They look around and everybody's like, oh, it must be funny because he's just got confidence behind you. And you had that confidence always, man. You were always insanely intense and just never looked back. And way to go, man.
Way to go for you too. You just always needed a hype man.
Mm-hmm.
You just need someone to like let you go. Like give him the green light. Give him the green light.
It's so funny. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, you just needed a hype man.
You were the one who did it for me in Montreal too.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Yeah. Going this way. By the way, do you remember the beer we would drink? There were two kinds of this beer. I can't remember this Canadian beer. I've been racking my brain to think about it. It was like there was like a gold version of it and like an amber, and it was just the greatest stuff. And we get fired up there, and I loved it, man. I loved going to that Montreal Comedy Festival.
Oh, it was the best. Back when it was, I think it's gone under. I think they did just announce they're going bankrupt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unfortunately. See, we should tell people what it was.
Oh,
so
yeah.
what it was during our time, when we were young, was the Montreal Comedy Festival was where young comedians would go up and you could kind of get a deal. And that's where you got the deal to do the King Queens.
Well, I got the deal to do at NBC.
Right.
And then turned in. Yeah, once that failed, that went into CBS.
But once you get in, the thing about the people should know, like in the 90s, there was this thing that was happening where everybody looked at a comedian like this could be the next Roseanne, this could be the next Tim Allen, this could be the next Seinfeld. So every time they looked at you, they're like, what do you got? What do you got for me? And the agents would try to put it together as a sitcom.
Yes.
And they had this showcase called the Montreal Comedy Festival, the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. And it was the most insane thing. You would go there and it would change your life. You could have one 15-minute set, and all of a sudden you got $500,000.
100%. You have one set that pops and people talking about, there's a buzz, and it's like you're set.
And they have bidding wars.
Yes.
So like CBS would be, Fox would be, they would all be throwing in. And, there's guys who walked, do you remember Chicken?
Chicken was the crazy guy?
Yes. Chicken got the deal that killed the deals.
Yes. He got like $800,000 or something. It was some crazy money, or I don't know what it was.
Some nutty amount of money.
But he had no act, right? It was after that they thought he was.
He just tricked everybody.
He did.
And I don't know how he did it. And I wonder if he had a hype man, if you could have kept tricking people.
Yeah.
Like maybe he just went off the rails with anxiety when success starts. Because that's one of the things that does happen. And I've talked about it. I think everybody admits it. When it first starts happening, you think it's going to go away. You get super anxiety ridden. You feel like an imposter, and you can't you'd show up on the set and you're like, are they kicking me out? Like I'm still here?
My bud, I'm telling you, I still deal with that. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
You obviously don't, and you haven't.
I do, though.
Do you really?
Though. Yeah, I do. I just ignore it. I tell it to shut the fuck up.
Well, that's what you got to do, I guess,
Yeah.
and that's what I don't do enough because I start thinking, and I start overthinking both sides. I'm like, oh gosh, what if this happens or this means something to this day.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing like a theater and it's my people, and I know that they're coming to pay to see me, I'm pretty confident. I feel like I'm going to do well. But if I do a club that they don't know me or something, like I did a corporate gig like a month ago, like in Miami, and I was like, oh boy, because corporate gigs, they can go either way, and
they can be horrible.
Well, I get there, it's in Miami, really good-looking people, everybody. It's in a lobby of a hotel, and I thought this was in a theater. I'm there, and it's good, and I'm getting worried. I'm like, I got to do how much? And they're like, you got to do an hour, and then I find out. Nobody there wants to see me. The woman who is the CEO of this company it was her birthday, and she liked me, so she brought me in for all her friends to see. Dude, I'm sitting in the lobby, and I'm finding all this information out as I'm sitting there. And I'm not kidding. I've never had a panic attack. I start going, what do you mean? Nobody else knows I'm here or this or that, or they don't know. They go, no, they don't know. This is a company. And, and I'm looking in the room. It's in the lobby. I can see through like a little glass window, and they're drinking, they're having, they're talking at table. Worst setup for comedy too. Just like round tables, booths, like not even facing you. And I see a postage stamp of a stage that I got to stand on. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I start hyperventilating. I really do. I go, I wish I was going. So I start going, I can't do this. I'm talking to Skylar, my assistant buddy. He's helping me out here, and I'm like, hey, just tell them we can't do it. And he's like, what are you talking about? I go, just tell him we're going to give him the money back. We're just not going to do it. We don't need to do this. I don't want to do it. It's just not going to go well. And I started really panicking. And then they started going up. She's up on stage now introducing me. And I go, oh my gosh, we're going. Oh my gosh. So I start freaking out. Heart is going like, exactly. I've been doing comedy for 30 years. I've been doing stand-up. I go, I don't need this. I'm ready to call Sussy and go, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do it. I don't need. I get up there and I go, just get him with that first joke. If you do, you settle it. Because if you don't, if they don't buy you on that first joke,
you're fucked.
You're gone.
You're fucked.
You're gone for an hour.
For an hour, you're gone.
Oh gosh. And they're not even listening. And they're loud when they bring me up. And when I came up, it wasn't even like they all turned and went nuts. But I got him with, I don't know what I said. I just said one joke about the lady thanking me, thanking for bringing me up. And I just won them over in one little sweet way, and they turned and they clapped and they laughed at one thing, and then I went into another joke very gingerly, just kind of going this, that, and they laughed at that, and I go, okay. I just settled in. I go, I got them. And they were great. They were great. They were really great. And I was sweating the whole time. I really feeling the sweat. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was rough, but
that's so nerve-wracking. I'm glad it worked out great. But
I hate it.
But I ran into Sandler when I missed you at the airport. I ran into Sandler. He was just telling me about the fucking worst corporate gig that he just had to do.
Yeah, I called him about. He had the same thing. He had the same thing. So it's nice to see somebody like that has it too.
Yeah, a guy like him can still eat dick.
I talked to Billy Joel, and he says he was like, I've gone through those. I'm like, but when you're playing music, it's different, man.
Yeah, but they'll throw that Saudi money at you.
He threw crazy money at him, and he did a corporate gig or whatever it was. And he says they weren't even listening. They turned away, and and it's like just you and the band, and you just go, let's go, boys, and they play.
Dana White had a 40th birthday party, and Stone Temple Pilots played. And it was insane. These dudes played like it was a packed arena.
Where?
It was at a fucking conference room in a hotel somewhere.
They didn't care.
They didn't give a fuck. They had a beautiful stage set up. The stage was set up nice. But all of a sudden, they were like, hey, everybody, Stone Temple Pilots. And then they fucking goes, I am.
They just went into, yeah.
I was so impressed by his ability to perform. I mean, it took a while for people to even filter to the dance floor in front of them and watch the show. This dude did it like there was 50,000 people out there. It was incredible. I mean, he didn't back off at all.
He who cares less has more power. It's literally like that's it. It's I'm going around with a tray of like, you guys think this is funny? He's like, I don't care.
He didn't give a fuck.
And everybody jumps in.
Full commitment. When someone just fully commits to something like that, it's very inspiring, and you'll never forget that. Because if you never see anybody fully commit, that's why you never see great comics ever that exist where there's no other great comics. The best comic in the world never comes out of Tallahassee.
Right.
Out of nowhere, no scene. We all need to see other people do something special. And if you're lucky, you live in New York or you live in LA or now you live in Texas, and you get to see these killers all the time.
Yeah.
And then you get a sense of it. So you know like where the watermark is.
Right.
Until you see a guy jump in front of a fucking 40th birthday party who's a platinum selling artist in this insane band that's iconic and perform like they're performing in front of an arena. He had the bullhorn and everything.
Oh my gosh.
It was incredible. It was incredible. The show was amazing.
Wow.
It was so good, but it was like that fucking guy worked for his money. Like he does it. He didn't have like I'll give him a 7 tonight.
Right.
I'm gonna give him an 8 every night.
Based
to 10.
on the area we was playing. It's like
guns blazing.
That's the way you gotta be, man. I gotta do it.
You need a hype man.
I need a hype man. I'm doing
You're two different guys.
I am.
You're you with
me.
no hype.
You know me. If I'm
Yes.
left to my own devices, I go into a little hole. I do. It's my whole life. Everything. Sports.
Yeah.
Everything. But this is the thing. Like I'm playing my first arena coming up, and I'm freaking out.